You are listening to the Gritty Podcast, where we talk about all things gritty. Life is not easy. It never was, and it never will be. A good life takes grit. Prioritize who you are and who you want to be, because life isn't fair, and a little grit can make all the difference.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I'm your host for the day, the Gritty Broman. Brian is on a hunt right now in Texas, shooting some turkeys, so you're stuck with me for the day. This intro is going to be really brief. Today's podcast, we're going to talk about squats. This is a short podcast with a lot of really good information. You'll probably listen to it more than once if you're interested in learning how to do a proper squat. Brian and I head down to Park City to hang out with Chris Spealler, and Chris talks to us all about squats. I went to go find some links to some of Chris's videos on squatting, and when I came across this quote, and I believe it's from Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm not sure, it's just a picture of some guy squatting, but I'm going to attribute this to Arnold, and it says, "The squat is the perfect analogy for life. It's about standing back up after something heavy takes you down." I love squats. If you're someone who wants to get just really stupid strong, nothing to replace a good squat. If you can squat heavy, you're a strong dude. I have this theory that everybody loves a buff person. Think about it. Everybody loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody loves The Rock. King Leonidas. Would it have been half as cool if King Leonidas sparring kicked that dude down a well if he was a big fat dude? No, it wouldn't have been. Think of any buff guy that you know, you probably like him. That's just a theory I have. So anyways, go to the description. I'm putting in a couple of links to Chris and a couple other people doing squats. So you can get a little bit of a visual on squats, because we don't actually do that in this podcast. Also, our deals and discounts are in the show notes on YouTube. Let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I'm with Chris Spealler. We're at CrossFit Park City.
We are.
Your gym.
Yeah.
And I want to just give people a quick rundown on squats.
Yeah.
Why do squats matter?
Yep.
And what are people doing wrong, and how do they fix it?
So it's probably like the most common movement you could ever do. Most like foundational. The better you are at a squat, the better you'll be at everything else. Most people, I think, in regards to like what's done incorrectly, I think a lot of it's education, like where they come from and the application of it. But if you're thinking about just like good general preparedness type squat, I think most people miss out on like range of motion. We've been told that our knees are going to explode if your hips go below your knees, but the study was done on cadavers in the 70s. So they're basically moving like a dead guy's leg around. So it doesn't have much validity.
That's a great study.
It is. Yeah, great.
That'll tell you a lot.
Yeah, it's about 50 years old. But for some reason, people are still bent on it. So I think range of motion, like making sure, you know, with all things in check, everybody else kind of is on the same page. Like, yeah, you got to have a flat back, and you want your weight in your heels and your knees tracking your toes. But the big argument comes with depth. But I mean, bro, sit down on the floor and try to have your hips stay above your knee and let me know how that goes for you. Because I haven't seen someone do it yet. So that's big. In regards to just like, I think what will help people with like bang for the buck.
Okay.
Get strong, anatomical range of motion. Make sure that you're fit. You know, you can do it. Flexibility.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. That's one of the things that happens. They come into the gym and they complain about back pain or knee pain or this and that, and then you'll see them do a squat, and I look at their form and it's cringy.
Yeah, and like the safest thing people can do is keep their back flat. You know, hands down, loaded, unloaded. That's the safest way to do it. And sometimes there's some give and take. You know, it might be like, well, you know, we need to eliminate some of our depth so that I can keep my back flat for now until I build that mobility. So it's not always like this perfect cookie cutter has to be type thing. But, you know, pretty much like there's 4 principles. Flat back, right? Mm-hmm. It's the most important. Weight in your heels, knees over your toes, and full depth. And those 4 things, like if you can do that stuff, that's good stuff.
I see a lot of guys do a really quad dominant, like knee bend forward kind of movement, right? And they don't really use their glutes or their hams at all.
Yep.
Or their adductors, their groin.
Yeah, that's like the typical like fitness squat. You know, narrow feet, jam your knees forward, hips above your knees.
Yeah.
Kind of how most people are taught.
That's what I see a lot. And I don't think that they've engaged their butt in a long time.
Yeah, totally. And then when you teach them how, they're like, whoa, it's really hard. Like, yeah, because you haven't used your butt cheeks to sit down and stand up for a while. But it's a learned thing. It's like it's a learned thing.
Tell me why it matters.
Why that matters?
Yep. Why doing it correctly matters. What are the benefits? To convince a guy to take the time to go to Chris Spealler's video and watch how, give me a case for it.
Obviously safety, right? Like that's the biggest thing in regards to like if someone's going to start doing these and like loading up their spine with a barbell and doing things like that, you got to make sure that you're safe and you're doing it well. Because squatting is not dangerous. Squatting with crappy form is dangerous, So safety. And then two, it's like when you do it right, you get so stupid strong. Like it's insane. We've got kids in here that have been back squatting since they were like 12 or 13. And they're 16, 17-year-old kids now that back squat over 400 pounds. It's crazy. And they weigh like 170 pounds.
Jeez.
Like a 16-year-old kid, 170 back squatting 425.
A lot of people hear that and they're thinking those kids are ruining their knees.
No.
What's your response?
That kid can double leg you to the ground and destroy you. Like if your back squat's 95 pounds, my money's on the 16-year-old that can back squat 425.
How many?
You should be like that.
You're 40 years old.
Yeah.
And you have been doing heavy squats for how long?
Let's do some math. 100 years. I've been squatting in some form or fashion, whether it's like in the wrestling room picking people up or, in a lifting sense. Gosh, since I was 13. So what is that? 27, 30,
okay,
something like that. Is that? Oh my gosh, yes, 27 years.
Do you have bad knees?
No,
Any knee problems?
I did when I was like at a high level of competition. But once I reined it back in, I didn't change the way I was squatting. I changed the volume of work that I was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm
okay.
Bueno. Yeah.
Good. So do you anticipate in the next 10 or 20 years having bad knees?
No. I anticipate keeping my back squat strong so I can roundhouse and double leg people that have 95-pound back squats.
There you have it, folks. There you have it. So where can people go and learn from Chris Spealler on how to do a good squat?
It's like, actually, I think, I don't know.
Is it in grunt work?
We don't have like any instructional videos in grunt work, but we do have like images, so we'll have some things in there. But I actually have like, if you go on Vimeo and you look up Icon Athlete, there's like a ton of movements in there that people can learn. And I don't know, I think I do a little bit on back squatting and things like that. Excuse me, my Instagram page, I've done some things in the past. But maybe I'll have to put something together. Just like, hey, here's how to squat.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Because I've pretty much watched a lot of your stuff on YouTube, Instagram over the years to teach myself how to do squats. There's certain go-to people that I followed for years because I trust their opinion and they're good teachers.
Sure.
They're giving me the right cues to figure it out, where there's others where they can do it, but they're not the best teachers.
Sure.
Like I watch Froning. It's like, you can do it.
Yep.
I never felt like Rich was the best teacher.
He's a really fit guy.
He's just like, you just do it.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't help me. I need someone who's
just watch me do it. Now do what I do.
Right.
Okay. Check.
Where you've
been working on that for a while.
You've been really good. Kelly Starrett, another one, really good at giving cues and things to me to help me like do better. So, all right, folks. Yeah.
Squat so you can roundhouse and double leg people.
Bam. Yeah. So you have good, strong knees.
Yeah.
Squat.
Be strong.
So you're awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
Stay gritty, folks.